guess that's a sign you're doing good. These continue to grow. There used to be about like 2 of them up here, and one of them was Hastings, which made me feel better because it took a lot of. We're back at it. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about the game last Saturday. A very good college football game. We would have liked to have finished the game and won. It was pretty accurate in the post-game conference. I was very proud of our football team for the way they competed. We ask our players to prepare hard, practice hard. We ask our coaches to do the same, and then we ask our players to give us great effort on Saturday, and they did that. They just came up a little short. And there's been a lot of comments about playing close. I'm not going to give you the old coach's cliche, I should say. It's a big word for me. We try to win every game we play in, and we had a plan to do it, and our players believed we could. We came up short. So we put that behind us. We go back to work today and get the players ready for this game Saturday.
Mike, you're coming off 2 huge games against Missouri and Texas, and are you concerned about a letdown this week?
Well, it always concerns you, but I'm going to go back to the leadership and the maturity that we have on the team. You know, it's an interesting mix. We have a lot of young players that are contributing, or players that don't have a lot of game experience, but we also have several players that are very mature and understand, and I think they've done a nice job of leading the younger players. It's a long season, and that's why we talk about taking it one game at a time. You can't get too high and you can't get too low. So I'm confident that they'll come back and practice well today.
How important is practice today, and how soon will you know your frame of mind of your team?
I'm pretty confident now they're going to prepare well. This team has continued to impress me personally in the way they handle themselves. You know, after the game Saturday, I saw looks in their eyes that I hadn't seen in this program in 4 years. And they were painful, but that's the way it's supposed to be. When you play on a big showcase and there's a lot on the line and you don't win, you're supposed to feel that way. So what I'm saying is I think because of all that, I think they'll come back and practice hard this week.
Mike, Kendall Hunter's durability through 8 games now, was that a concern or going into the year because he only had limited duty in spot situations last year?
He's in much better physical condition than he was at that time last year. You're relying on a true freshman a year ago. Rob Glass has done a tremendous job with him. His body's changed. And Keith Toston's helped him tremendously because he's been able to go in and spot him at times and has been productive in doing that. So we would like to keep things going just the way they are at this time. But he has been very durable, and he practices really well. And like to have another open week at some particular time here, but we're a ways away from that. But he's held up, and he's done a nice job.
With your fingerprints more on the offensive play calling now, is the run a little more favored, or is it the way the games have played out early in the season, maybe it's a little more balanced toward the run than pass?
Both of those statements are correct. I like to run the football personally, but so do the guys in that offensive room. Joe Wickline likes to run the football. Curtis Looper has an option background. Gunnar Brewer, who's the wide receivers coach, his dad was a coach at Ole Miss forever, and they ran the football. So we all like to run the football, but the key to our offense is to stay balanced, and we'll always try to do that. I think at any particular time a defense could take one or the other away, but it's just important for us to stay balanced.
When you recruited Kendall, Mike, did you see him as a really good rotation back, or did you think maybe he could be an all-conference type of back?
Coach Wickline and I pulled our best Mel Kiper out on him, and we thought that he was going to be really good.
But is it true that you guys were in the minority on the staff, though, that maybe the others weren't quite so sure?
I wouldn't say the minority. We have specific recruiting areas geographically, and then we go in as a position. You guys know how all that works. And Wickline kept standing on the table for him. And offensive line guys kind of stay in their own little area. They don't get out much other than this guy's a really good player and do what you want with him. but he kept reminding the staff, hey, there's a guy out here in East Texas, and he had an injury. Not a lot of people know about him. Think he's a really good football player. His coaches, who have been around a long time, speak very highly of him as a person. And that goes a long way with our staff. And so I said, all right, I'll go. I'm jumping the plane. We flew down there, and I said, we'll check him out. And we happened to be there when he had a scrimmage in the spring. And it didn't take long after that. We were able to go eat Mexican food within 12 plays of that scrimmage. We were out of there.
Burritos or tacos?
I don't remember. It's been so long. But we were only there about 10 or 12 plays, and I said, Wickline, where have you been hiding this guy? And we were out of there. There's a good Mexican place in Tyler there on that loop. I don't know what the name of it is.
He goes from being a role guy last year, a good role guy, but a role guy, he's on pace now to have the third best rushing season the school's ever had.
I got a call this morning on the teleconference about him, and there hadn't been a lot of talk about him preseason, and there wasn't a lot of talk really up until a couple weeks ago, I guess local. But we're glad he's on our team. He's been very good for us. And one of the best attributes he has, he never says anything. He just does what you ask him to do, and he continues to play hard. Can't get enough guys like that.
That's the problem. He didn't say anything when we asked him.
Well, I know you guys have to do your job, but I'm more for him not saying for me and not saying for you. We've got a lot of guys that talk a lot. They're easy to find.
Playing hand in hand with that, you're a guy who doesn't give much of a curve when grading the offensive line or your opinion on them. Mm-hmm. Even earlier this year, talking about you thought they played average. Where are they now, especially with the way this run game is going?
They played good in this game. And the reason I'm a skilled coach that loves to watch offensive line. I've learned to migrate towards the big guys and what they do inside, and had an opportunity to work under Coach Miles, who I think is a very good line coach, and Joe Wickline, who I think is I spent more time inside with him lately, and it's unbelievable. And so I've been able to learn a lot. So I have a lot of compassion for those guys now. And they played good in this last game. Texas defensive front is very good, very athletic. And our guys handled the circumstances and their athleticism very well, in my opinion.
Mike, does Kendall's size prove to be a disadvantage to the opponents?
I think there's some truth that these guys that are short are hard to find in the zone blocking schemes that are more common nowadays. He's 5'8" or whatever he is, and I think that sometimes he gets hidden, and when he stops and takes off, it's more difficult to find him behind the lineman.
Mike, when you took this job, how much of an effort did you make yourself to try to make it a place that an assistant coach would want to come and stay?
Well, that took place before I got here. Terry Don Phillips and Coach Holder and a couple other guys were involved in the search for the head coach before I got the job. And the communication took place from higher-ups that we need a head coach here that's going to be committed and loyal, but we need assistants that want to stay here for the duration, because that's never happened here. I mean, this conversation's gone on before. I don't want to bore anybody, but we've had a lot of good assistants come through here that chose to leave for a so-called better job, or they didn't feel like that they were taken care of financially, and guys leave. And that commitment was made at that point, and then whenever I got the job, I didn't even look at my contract. I just took the job and signed it and felt glad and lucky that I had it. And the only thing that we had talked about was to make sure the assistant coaches were taken care of, because they're the ones that do all the hard. They work. There's a tremendous commitment from the assistant coaches and the players to make this organization run. And so we wanted to keep them here unless they moved on to be head coaches or coordinators. And we've been fairly successful at that.